back to Glitter Budget with your hosts, Ann Jeanette.
And Jess.
I forgot to say that last time. I realized that when I was watching.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah, I did. But it was because that, we're brand new in our branding and I forget a lot of things.
It's okay. It's still, you're getting used to it. It still doesn't feel right when you say it.
Yes, I still have to try not to say the thing. Anyway, in this week's episode, we're talking about Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Which is one of the ones that I've seen so often that I did not need to rewatch it.
Same.
But it is always like that's one of those movies that I will just sit down and I'll be like, I'm gonna watch it. Like if it's on, like if I'm randomly going through cable channels and I see it, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. So I think that movie, Young Frankenstein, and Robin Hood Men in Tights are probably like neck and neck of my favorites.
I my top three I think are Robin Hood Men in Tights, Dracula Did Loving It, and Young Frankenstein. But I think Robin Hood and Dracula are because they were his last two,
Mm-hmm.
and like they were both in the '90s, and I don't know, just I think that those jokes are the funniest, and I love Carrie Elwes
That's fair.
and Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in Young Frankenstein, it is a parody of obviously all of the Universal Frankenstein films.
Mm-hmm. Like the original
Yeah,
black
yeah.
and white. Yeah.
So that's why it was filmed in black and white. And this movie was actually Gene Wilder's film that he wanted to do back from when he was on Blazing Saddles. So he agreed to do Blazing Saddles, and he was like, "All right, Mel, next we're gonna do my film."
Yeah. Well, they had discussed it on set of Blazing Saddles, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I know so yes, I mean that was one of the things that I didn't realize was that it technically was Gene Wilder's like brainchild, and he just hired Mel Brooks to direct it.
Yeah.
But I guess one of the stipulations for him to direct it was that he couldn't be in the movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
which it didn't even dawn on me until I started to like read into it a little bit. Was that I was like, oh shit, like he's not in it.
Yeah.
So and I guess the issue was just the amount of times that he breaks the fourth wall, which they do a little bit with Igor,
Yeah.
but not. It's very subtle. It's
Mhm.
not as much.
Like it's because it is still supposed to be a parody, but just the fact that like Brooks would, as Wilder put it, like break the illusion of the Frankenstein movie, that he was just like, no, please. So Mel Brooks did like off-screen stuff. He was the Howling Wolf. He was Frederick's grandfather and the shrieking cat during the dart scene.
Oh really?
When the dart is thrown off
Yeah.
screen, he's that shrieking cat. And but yeah, I guess there was one little tidbit. I took a picture of it because it was like too much to write down for me. But Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks got into only one fight during the movie's production, but it was a big one, with Mel throwing a huge temper tantrum, yelling and raging, and eventually storming out of Gene's apartment where the men had been working on the script. Roughly 10 minutes later, Gene's phone rang. The caller was Mel, who had this to say. "Who is that madman you had in your house? I could hear the yelling all the way over here. You should never let crazy people into your house. Don't you know that? They could be dangerous." That, as Gene later put it, was Mel's way of apologizing. Which I thought was like pretty cool.
Did it say like what they were arguing about though?
I don't know, just something to do with, it didn't say specifically, just said something to do with the script. Like I'm assuming that they had like a lot of different rewrites that they had to do, and like you said, it was Wilder's kind of brainchild, and Brooks has very specific ways of how he likes jokes to go
Yeah.
and this, that, and the other thing. And I think just when you're working so hard on a project like that, you're bound to get into like squabbles and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I know that like the original film was almost 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, they had
Like,
to.
which is, I mean, for back then, is obnoxious. It's quite frankly, it's still obnoxiously long now.
Yeah, Scorsese.
But but I guess when they were doing the kind of like the, oh my god, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Editing.
No, when they bring in like people just off the street to kind of
Oh,
watch
when
it
they
for
did
the
like a
first
test
time.
screening?
Yeah, test
Yeah.
screening. They were like, it was very obvious.
Hmm.
They weren't like too thrilled with it and too happy. So I guess Mel Brooks actually just at the end came out, which was like, what you saw wasn't our best work. This is, ridiculous. Like what you will see moving
Yeah.
forward will be like a masterpiece and what you guys deserve. And I guess just spent days alone in the editing room until they got it to 90 minutes.
Yeah, they went through and for every one joke that worked, there were three that fell flat. So they
Mm-hmm.
just cut out everything that didn't work.
Right.
And they actually Mel Brooks wanted to cut out the walk this way bit.
Yeah.
He wanted to cut it out, but then he didn't think it was funny. But then when audiences saw it, they thought it was hilarious. He's like, all right, I guess I'll just keep it in.
Yeah.
And Aerosmith took a break from recording during that night. During like the time when Young Frankenstein came out, and then the next morning, like they saw the movie the next morning, and they wrote that song "Walk This Way" because of that bit.
Right. Which is awesome. I love like little tidbits like that and how it influences more than just cinema.
Yeah, like it's just it's fascinating to me.
Yeah. But I
So
guess
awesome.
that whole scene though, like he was the actor who had played Igor was
Marty Feldman.
yes. Was his first like movie and he was super nervous. So he was doing it like off screen as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, let's just run it through, like let's just see how it is. And everyone's like, oh, we hate it. But the audience loved it. It's like,
Yeah,
damn it, to keep it.
yeah, and the whole the hump moving bit
Yeah.
was something that he was doing just by himself, and then it took everyone like a while to realize it, and they thought it was funny. So then they worked it into the movie with his hump moving from side to side.
It was kind of like in Robin Hood Men in Tights with the mole.
Yes, wasn't your mole on the other side? I have a
The
mole.
mole?
Just like, oh god, like they don't make movies like that anymore. They
No,
just
it's just
don't.
it's smart and witty and it's just delivered so well. And I think just
Mhm.
the quality of acting and the amount of just passion and care that you have for your craft,
Yeah,
was put in there so much that you could just tell. Like it just makes the movie that much better and
yeah.
everyone's a little bit better connected.
Mhm. It's just like there was the kind of humor where like you didn't really have to like cut anyone down for it. It was
Yeah.
just like witty plays on words and stuff, and it was just like I said, it was just smart and clever, and I don't know, I love it. Puns, God, do I love puns?
You are a whore for puns.
Oh, a hooer, just an absolute hooer. God, but another like as I was reading up on the movie, there's a little tidbit of like the majority of the people that were that made or were in this movie are now dead.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah. Most of
I
most of
mean,
the cast is not alive anymore. So like Gene Wilder,
oh,
Marty Feldman, Peter Boyle,
yeah.
um, Madeline Kahn,
Oh,
um, who else? And I think what it said like there were 9 actors that are still alive today. So Mel Brooks is still going.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Terry Garr is still alive. I think. Don't quote me. Gene Hackman is still
Yeah.
alive.
Which don't know how I didn't notice that he was in that
I don't.
movie.
How did you not know?
I
Like, what,
don't know.
as soon as I knew who Gene Hackman was, I was like, oh my fucking god.
No, I had no idea how I missed that, and then like that entire scene was just ad libbed for the most part. Or no,
His
the
line with the
espresso.
espresso
Yeah.
was ad libbed, and they found it like the crew found it so funny that they laughed hysterically after he said it, and they had to immediately fade to black because they couldn't do any other takes because Gene Hackman would laugh every time. So the only take that they got that was good was the one where the crew was cracking up afterwards. So that's why, like, after he says, "I was gonna make espresso," it just immediately fades to black because they had to cut out everyone laughing.
So I guess there's that, and then Gene Wilder, they said like was just you couldn't rein him in.
Yeah,
So he was just constantly like breaking character and laughing at his own jokes or the scenes to the point where it would take like 15 takes or more for one scene. But they were like, well, he's kind of running the show too.
yeah,
So who's going to tell him, like, you need to get your shit together? Which I'm sure, like, in the beginning, it was probably like funny for everyone. And then
Yeah.
after a while, I'm sure, especially like the cameraman holding everything up. We're done. Just get it right the first time.
It's
Could we? Could
also
you not?
it's expensive because it was on film and it
Mm.
was black and white, like thick film. So like because they didn't Mel Brooks didn't want it to be shown in color at all. Like that the one production
It
company.
would have ruined it. Wasn't it Universal?
No, it was oh god, I wrote
Because
it down.
Fox was the one that ended up greenlighting it. 20th Century Fox.
Yeah. Columbia
What
Pictures
was it? Yeah.
was the company that Brooks was originally going to work with, but they didn't want him to shoot it in black and white. They were trying to trick him into doing like, okay, well, we'll show it in black and white, but it would essentially be filmed on color so that when it was sent over to Peru, where they had just gotten color,
Mm.
they could see it in color. And Brooks was like, you know what? No. So then he went to 20th Century Fox, and then they were like, yeah, sure, whatever.
I mean, it made that movie would not have been the same, and it would not have the same effect if it was in color.
Oh God, no. Even seeing like um the front of the one DVD or the Blu-ray that I have of it, it's a color poster that someone had I think put together. And it is like I said, it's in color, and you're like, oh, it's just weird to see everything in color because everything is in black and white, and I don't know. But they still had to do, even though it was filmed in black and white, they still Peter Boyle's makeup was still the green, just to make his features and the shadows pop
Right.
on black and white.
I think that's one thing like a lot of people don't take into consideration when you're filming in black and white. You still have to take into consideration the colors of costumes, your makeup, stuff like that, because
Mhm.
it's all you're working with is lights and contrast. So
Yeah.
you have to be like really careful with what people are wearing. Like I think in I don't remember in the original movie, but I know in the TV show The Munsters, of course was in black and white,
Yeah.
and her dress was actually pink.
Yeah.
So, but you would never know, but like it needed to be those specific colors for it to show the way that it did without everything either being like really washed out or just blending into the background.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is still something that not everyone's just wearing black and white.
Yeah, like it's not just
Throw on whatever, it looks
yeah, it's
good.
not just random shades of gray. Like it has like you said, like they still have to spend time and money and costumes and makeup and everything like that. So it's not like you can just be like, oh yeah, just coming off the like come in like you don't have to get ready in your trailer and blah blah blah. You just come in,
Just throw
you're
on
fine.
whatever.
Yeah. So like that was actually they had makeup continuity error issues in the scene with the blind man.
Mm.
So the hand that is seen pouring the soup is actually Mel Brooks's hand, not Gene Hackman's, because there was a makeup continuity issue.
Hmm.
So that's another director cameo. His hand.
The all of the well, not all of the, but most of the oh my god, props for like his actual laboratory, like all like the electrical work and stuff like that was
Yeah.
from the original Universal Frankenstein picture.
Yeah.
So like the guy who had done all of the work on that, which was never really given like too much credit. Why am I blanking so hard today?
I don't know that guy's name, but Mel Brooks.
Yes, Mel Brooks went to go hunt him down to be like, hey, this is really awesome. Like, can I rent all this equipment and stuff that you used off of
Yeah.
you? And like, I will actually give you credit in the movie.
Yeah.
So,
And he actually did get the credit. I was like, good for you, dude. Brooks was cool like that.
yeah, I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, it's not all about the writers and directors. It's everybody, especially special effects.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have like really bad special effects that isn't gonna be believable,
Mhm.
it kind of takes away from the movie a little bit because that's all you
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah, like the skulls that they see down in when they're going down into the laboratory.
Mhm.
They were all real except for the 6 months dead one, which like the makeup and special effects company had to make. But just the fact that everything else was real was like, ooh. But the 6 months dead one was like, it looks pretty fucking gnarly, but that's cool. Like you can't like all these little details that a lot of people would just take for granted or not even really take much notice of. But if they weren't there, you'd be like, something's lacking. So you really need good like production designer, good set designer, good makeup and costume department, like all of these people, like the lighting. You can't, like I said, it's not just actors and director and writers. It's everyone makes a movie or makes a TV show, and it's awesome. Like if you don't have that, like if you have it like one shitty domino,
Yeah.
it ain't gonna work.
No, no. But I don't know. I mean, I love the idea that he had come up with of, just imagining if you had somebody in your family history that was that notorious, especially in the scientific field that you're trying to like work in yourself, of just like, you know what, I need to separate myself
Yeah.
from this ridiculous legacy. Like, there's absolutely no way that you could reanimate the dead, but there's still like that piece of you that's maybe you could, but I don't want to like admit that,
Yeah.
and then just going out there and being sucked into the whole thing of just maybe this is like a
Mhm.
genealogy, like you can't escape it kind of thing.
Yeah. I love the bit um where Frederick meets Igor for the first time, and then they go over the pronunciations of their name,
Yeah.
and he's just like, oh, it's Frankenstein. He's like, is it also Frodrick? Are you Frodrick Frankenstein? He's like, no, it's Frederick Frankenstein. And he's like, so you're Igor? And he's like, it's pronounced Igor. He's like, oh, well, they told me it was Igor. Well, they were wrong then, weren't they? Like, it's just that whole spiel. Igor was, I think, my favorite, as well as I think it was what was her name? Elizabeth, Madeline Kahn's character.
Yeah.
Her, oh god,
Everything she plays in is gold, though.
yeah. And like I said in the last one, or when we were talking about Blazing Saddles, was that she was that the last one?
No, Spaceballs is the last one.
I know what I'm talking
Do
about. That was a
you?
test and you passed.
Oh.
Um, like I said in that, like Madeline Kahn, she's a very good singer. She's actually operatically trained. So in Blazing Saddles, she had to sing off key, which is very hard.
Off keen and a lisp.
Yes, it's very hard for a well trained singer. So in this one, she actually got to sing on key. Um, and the reason she's singing what was it, the Battle Hymn of the Republic or something like that
Yeah.
was because it was public domain. But it was her idea to sing "Oh Sweet Mystery of Life" because she's like, I feel like this orgasm scene should start with an O or an ah. I'm like, well, you make a point.
That whole like dynamic though of what ended up happening with her and the creation just kills me every time.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of again like without saying it, she kind of turns into the bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, especially with her
The
hair
hair,
in the
yeah.
end. And she's like, oh God. But like you said, anything that she's in it's chef's kiss. It's gold. I love it. I love her. I'm very, very sad that she's no longer with us.
Yeah.
I mean, as well as Gene Wilder. Like, God, that whole cast. I think that their dynamic worked really well together. And I don't know the putting on the Ritz scene. Mel Brooks didn't think that was gonna fly. He thought it was. He
Really?
didn't think it was funny.
Oh my god, it's hilarious.
Yeah, and he's like, when he saw that people actually were laughing, he's just like, oh, all right, I guess we'll keep it in.
I guess I feel like at some point, like especially when you've been in the business for that long and you've had so many successes, when you start to question of like, I don't think this is funny, but I guess we'll see how it goes, and people think it's hilarious. I wonder if at that point you're like, do I not know what funny is anymore?
I can
Do I start to question like
Yeah.
my talents?
I think that's kind of the same with any artist, where that they think that their art is shit, or they think that this isn't good, and everyone else is looking at it like, oh my god, this is mind blowing, like it's amazing, and you're like, well, I did that with my feet, and I was half asleep when it happened, and you're just like, most people would kill for that kind of talent. So
Yeah.
like I think it's like an artist problem where they eventually kind of become numb to their own talent. They're like, I don't even.
I mean, I think like we are our own worst critics always,
Oh, yeah.
like always. So I mean, I think there's that, and I think it's just the inability to accept that like you are talented and what you're doing like is good.
Mhm.
And I think like you get frustrated when everyone's telling you it's great, but you don't feel it, like you don't have that
Yeah.
yes, and I think I mean get off like in a tangent here, but I know like Picasso was one. I mean, all the greats were, but like Picasso was definitely one where like his art was way ahead of his time. Nobody was ready for it, you know. But there was a couple pieces that he was very proud of that people were like, "This is it. This is what you gave us. I don't even know what I'm looking at."
They're like,
Great.
it's like Vincent Van Gogh,
Mm-hmm.
or however we want to pronounce his name. I don't know, but he was not hit like his artwork wasn't appreciated until after his death,
Yeah.
and now look at like everyone's just like, oh my god, Starry Night and all
Yeah.
this shit, and they're like that episode of Doctor Who.
Gets me every time. If you don't cry during that episode, you have no soul.
You are heartless.
And I don't cry easy.
She's heartless
Oh
too sometimes.
God.
It's literally like
It killed me because you could kind of tell he knew that nothing was going to change, and when she ran back into that museum, just so
oh
mm, sorry.
oh god. Very emotional right now. Why would you
I'm
bring that
sorry.
up?
So anyone who has not watched Doctor Who, watch that episode. It's very easy to find if you just put in Doctor Who Van Gogh episode. It will come up.
Yeah, it's
You don't really need to be like a huge, like it's not gonna spoil anything. Like you'll know what's happening. It's not gonna be like I don't know where we're at in the season.
yeah, it's just, and the episode is called Vincent, so it's just very easy to find, but also that was one of those string of episodes that are just absolutely gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Or as many Doctor Who episodes are just absolutely.
Like most
That's-
Christmas episodes.
Yeah. What's worse is that there are episodes in between, that like this isn't what we're talking about. We're going off on a
Yeah.
tangent. Can we get back to the
All right,
episode, please?
I'm sorry. Young Frankenstein. Let's go. Focus.
Right.
God,
Anyway,
bad.
the
Who's the actress that played the young German assistant?
Terry Gar.
Yeah. So I guess she was like luckily was able to kind of pull that German accent out of her ass.
Yeah, because originally Madeline Kahn was gonna play Inga,
Mm.
and Terry Gar had auditioned for Elizabeth, but then Madeline Kahn was like, "Nah, I want to play Elizabeth," and so Mel Brooks called Terry Gar up and was like, "Hey, if you can do a German accent, you've got the part. Can you come in tomorrow?" And then on the phone with Mel Brooks, she's like, "Of course, like, Will, of course I can do it. Whatever. I can't do a German accent, okay? roll, roll, roll the hay." So that's like she was like, "Yeah, of course." And then she got the part. But also apparently the actress who Cindy Williams, I think her name is, who originally played Shirley from Laverne and Shirley,
Mhm.
was played Elizabeth for a brief period of time because there was a scheduling conflict with Madeline Kahn, and then that cleared up, and then Mel Brooks fired
Oh.
Cindy Williams and brought Madeline Kahn back. But it was Madeline Kahn, and then she couldn't do it because of scheduling, and then Cindy Williams came in, and then Cindy Williams went out, and Madeline Kahn came back.
Well,
I guess that was written into her memoir, Cindy Williams. It was Shirley something. Kind of like that airplane joke, like, "Shirley, you can't be serious." Something like that.
Right.
Of course I'm serious and don't call me Shirley. That's a movie we should talk about. Airplane.
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking amazing. Like those kinds of movies where like that humor, where it's like pun humor, the highest form of comedy. I don't care what anyone says. Fight me, prove me wrong.
But it's got to be done again, though. It's got to be done well.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be done well. And it's got to be delivered well at the right times. Like you can't just
Yeah,
all puns all day. It's like,
but it's classic. Like, all right, boys, let's take some pictures, and then they just literally take the pictures that are on the wall. Like, I picked a bad week to stop sniffing glue. I speak jive. Can we get back to the episode, please?
I'm just letting you go at this point.
Oh
Clearly,
God,
there's no reeling you back in.
I crack myself up. I don't know why. I'm so dumb. But
I mean that's pretty harsh though. I mean, I kind of feel like I would hope probably nobody did, but I would have probably sat around. I'm like, listen, you're not our first choice, and if our first choice comes back, you're out. The main bitch is here.
yeah, just like, well,
Move along.
yeah, like I don't know if there were any contracts signed or whatever, because I know for the most part, like when you accept a role, there is normally a contract involved. So I
Yeah.
don't know if there was a contract. I have not read this woman's memoir, so I don't know. Um, but like I said, Madeline Kahn had she was given she got that role, but
Right.
then there were scheduling conflicts with other roles that she was doing at the time. So then she had to drop out. But then once those conflicts cleared up, she came back. So, but in the interim,
How like did it say like how much she had filmed at that point?
I I don't remember, but obviously it wasn't so much that they were like, well, I'm sorry, Madeline, we have to go with
Right.
Cindy over here. I think it was, it was little enough or like few enough scenes where they were like, you know what, we can reshoot. It's fine. It's
Right.
whatever we have our main bitch back, so we're
Yeah.
gonna
I
we're
think
gonna go
like
with
it's
her.
a definitely a money issue at that point too. Like you said, if they had filmed X amount of scenes,
Yeah,
just time and cost wise. But yeah, it's gotta be like I don't know, man. It's gotta be a real hit to your ego. I'd feel some kind of way about that.
yeah, but also just imagine if Shirley from Laverne and Shirley
Uh,
was like,
would not have been the same.
no, I I can't. No, I can't imagine anyone but Madeline Kahn playing her.
Yeah.
That scene where Igor is like biting the fur thing. That was something that they had to do the most takes on because everyone would crack up so often because there would be a piece of fur that would get stuck in Marty Feldman's mouth. Yeah. So everyone was laughing. They had to keep reshooting that particular scene. And when you watch the bloopers, he actually gets like I think he gets a paw in his mouth at some point. Oh god, it's
Uh,
funny.
See, I would be, by no means am I anywhere close to being able to act whatsoever, but I feel like that would be one of my big downfalls. It's like just staying in character and being able to keep it together. Because, I mean, once you get the giggles,
Yeah,
you're done. I would
that's
have
what.
been like, we're done for the day. I'm going to go. I'll be on my trailer. I'm no good.
This is why I think we should definitely have to start filming the behind the scenes on our TikTok videos
Yeah.
because, man, when we were trying to do the Spaceballs one, or even just like we're the one that we did for Young Frankenstein, like we played around with it. We made it pandemic themed,
Yeah.
but it's just doing anything like that is just so funny.
I think I lost it pretty good, though, for the Spaceballs one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, at some point, I just couldn't. Yeah, I think I was getting frustrated though too because we had it.
We had that one good take, but I think just the camera was in the wrong spot, or
It was like a lighting thing. There was like a huge streak of light like right in the middle of it.
yeah,
And after that, my
it
brain was
was
like, "We're
it
done."
looked like a lens flare. It looked like J.J. Abrams had directed.
Super obnoxious bright lighting for no
Yeah,
reason.
you're just like that's not because we use a obviously we use a softbox light to actually like light us. Our very pale complexions just make them shine even brighter.
Uh,
But also to light Steve.
oh. Poor Steve.
Yeah, but we need to have
Many different reasons why we need
yes.
the proper lighting.
Baby, I love you. But yeah, so our behind the scenes and our tomfoolery and shenanigans, the dumb fuckery that goes on.
Uh,
That's like one of the hardest parts of acting is if you're doing a funny scene and just trying to keep it together when especially because like if you've done it so many times, you know what the fuck's gonna go on, so you have to pretend like you have no idea what's about to be said, and you need to try to have like a natural reaction to it.
yeah.
Yeah, that is hard.
Mm.
Like, oh yeah.
No, yeah, I couldn't keep it together though, and I can't. Like I said, I can't imagine during that movie. There's so many great scenes. I
Like,
don't really blame Gene Wilder for losing his shit in the majority of filming.
yeah, like Inspector Von Kemp wearing a monocle over his eye patch. Like, if someone I'll be like, I couldn't.
Just the arm in and of itself.
But the scene, the dart scene where he's just throwing it and he goes to throw forward, but it clearly goes backwards. You goes, and you're like, and then the cat noise. Oh God. The horses every time Frau Blucher's name is said, and her reaction and her accent. Yes, he was my boyfriend. I could not. The sound waves on this thing. Sorry, just probably have to put a warning up and be like, maybe turn the volume down in your car, or like take your earbuds out for a second.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think some of my favorite scenes though was like the train scene when they're leaving, the roll in the hay,
Yes.
and just him like trying to keep it professional, but looking at her like, yes, roll in the hay some more.
Yes. Oh God. Or werewolf. Werewolf. Their wolf. Their castle. Why are you talking like that? I thought you wanted to. No, I don't want to. All right, suit yourself. I'm easy. Like all of his lines. What hump?
When she got stuck in the revolving
No.
fireplace.
Put
The candle back.
Oh God. So if you haven't seen Young Frankenstein yet, please do yourself a favor and watch it, as well as all the other movies that we've talked about so far. You got to watch Spaceballs. You got to watch Blazing Saddles. Watch the original producers. We haven't talked about it yet, but that's the original producers that the musical is based off of. Got to watch that. I like both versions. A little bit more partial to the newer producers because of Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick.
That was a really good cast, just the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, but it was, I don't know, just Mel Brooks movies, man. They're gold. And apparently this film in particular, Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks was most proud of. He thinks it's the best film that he's ever made. But he thinks that it's only the third funniest film behind Blazing Saddles and I think the producers. That's what he said.
I mean, I think it is, again, for me, it stands out the most. I don't know. I just, like you said, just from start to finish, it's just.
He must have an enormous Schwanstück. That goes without saying.
I don't know. It was just so well done.
Sound. I didn't make a yummy noise. I'm sorry. Now I'm just going off on tangents. You were saying?
No, I'm good.
I'm sorry.
I'm just, like I said, just going to let you go. You do you, boo.
Thanks. But anyway, we'll close out this episode saying, again, watch the movie, watch the other movies, and tune in for our episode next week. We're going to be talking about Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Sure.
Or Dracula Didn't Love You. One of those.
Maybe both. Who knows?
Because we don't.
Clearly.
Oh, God. Anyway, so tune in next week. And as always, we have our Facebook, we've got Instagram, we have Twitter, we have YouTube, all under Glitter Budget. So you can find us on any one of those. Please like and subscribe.
Yes.
And share your thoughts.
Criticism is, yes, share your thoughts. Constructive criticism is appreciated.
Don't be mean, okay? Because we can't handle it and it'll hurt my feelings.
I can handle it. I just don't find it helpful.
So there's a difference between me and Jess. I'll cry, and she'll be like, "Bitch, what the fuck does that even do? Like, who is that helping?
Nobody. Nobody.
God, ain't nobody got time for that."
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so check us out